welcome back to part B.
Part
Coffee with Janis and Karen. We're talking about the Lord's Prayer. And we had gotten to verse 12 in chapter 6 of Matthew, where it says, "And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors." And
mine
wow.
says, "As we also have forgiven our debtors."
Yeah.
I'm doing NIV. You're doing.
This is the
King
old
James.
King James. This is my graduation gift from Amy.
It's kind of in bad shape.
It's in bad shape. You know, I've got a few pages. I didn't like what that said, so I just tore it. No, not really. It's so old. It's ripping apart.
Yeah.
But I've tried so many new Bibles, and I just can't get away from it. But anyway.
There's a lot of history.
There's a lot of history, a lot of marks and highlights.
Notes.
And notes, yes. But Karen, this one is a toughie. Mm-hmm. This is a toughie. Mm-hmm. I mean, are you going to pray this prayer? Or are you going to really mean this prayer?
This is so convicting.
Yes, it is.
Forgive us our debts. And I like to think, I mean, you could think of it as money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's get real.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about people who have offended us or done something bad against us, whether it has to do with money or whatever.
Right.
So forgive us our debts. We have already forgiven our debtors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not, as a Christian, it's not, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. As a Christian, it is, oh, you will. Mm-hmm. It's an act of obedience. Mm-hmm. To forgive is an act of obedience.
Right.
And it's not easy.
It isn't easy. It's
simple.
easier said.
It's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah. It's easier said than done. I mean, how many of you, someone has wronged you, you hold a grudge. And I mean, honestly, we all know that most of the time it hurts us.
Oh, yeah.
Worse than the one that has offended us.
Yes.
And, I mean, you and I both have experienced some pretty heavy offenses. Meanness and evil.
Yeah.
And, this has been one I've struggled with, Karen. Yeah. And the Lord is, I mean, He has walked with me through this because it has been a toughie. And, but yes.
And can I just insert here? This was so pivotal. This whole concept of forgiving was so pivotal in my life that I wrote a little book.
Yes, you guys need to look that up.
Yeah, How to Forgive Even When You Really Don't Want to. Mm-hmm. And it's just a digital copy.
You have it on Amazon?
Yeah,
you really should look that up.
Because this is where I learned, going through some hard stuff, how to forgive. And the verse that changed my life. Of course, there's more than one, but the one that I go back to is in Job, where it says, "Get this, and the Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he prayed for his friends, who were awful to him." Mm-hmm. Awful.
Yeah. Karen, what about those people that don't ask for your forgiveness?
It don't matter.
You still have to extend it.
If they're dead. Some people need to forgive some dead folks.
Yeah. Is that you? It might be. Yeah.
Things that are out of your control, but they're still beating you down. They're still weighing you. You're still carrying it. Yeah. They're not. Right.
Yeah. We have to forgive even when they don't ask us to forgive them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Let me just say, does that mean when you forgive someone, you have to realize it doesn't change them?
No.
It changes you. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yep.
That doesn't mean you have to trust them now.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Jesus said we're to be like harmless as doves and
wise as a serpent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just because you've forgiven somebody, it doesn't suddenly mean they're a saint.
Right.
You can look at them with honest eyes and know exactly who they are.
Yeah. You don't have to be their friend.
No.
But you do have to forgive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes Here's how I did it. One time I was really struggling, and I said, I came across that verse in Job, and I knew what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I prayed something like this: Lord, I don't even like those people. But because I'm your child, and because your word says, as an act of obedience, I forgive them.
Wow, Karen, that's awesome.
And sometimes I'd have to remind myself,
Right. Yeah.
I have forgiven them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I did.
Mm.
And you know what? God got them. Kind of.
You didn't pray for
No,
revenge,
no.
did you? No.
But
But
I
God
can
doesn't,
see,
yeah, He doesn't
you know.
close a blind eye to those that do evil
And
against
even
His
if-
children.
Even if you don't see anything that happens, there's more later. There's judgment.
Right.
You know, there are
Yeah.
things.
Well, we don't always have to wait till heaven and hell
No.
to reap revenge. I mean, we don't need to take revenge. A lot of people do, and that's why there's a lot of people in jail.
Yeah.
But
Have you ever been mad enough to do something laying you in jail? Maybe.
right. But you know what? You get them, God. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but we have to let it go.
We have to let it go.
We have to let it go, or
Because
it will eat us up.
And we don't know everything.
No, we don't.
You know.
Yeah.
There may be some kind of reason that if we knew why somebody did something to us, we would be like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
You
What's
know.
that phrase people use? Hurt people hurt people.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times that's the case. Yeah.
So forgiveness is pivotal.
It is.
So we're just reading through the Lord's Prayer.
Yes, we are. We are.
And you come across that, and when you say it, you need to pray it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Lord will, I mean, there'll be other things you think, I got this down.
Right.
And then something else happens, you'll be like, oh, I need to forgive them. Because every time I see them, I'm like,
something rises
if
up.
there's somebody that you know, and every time you see them, you go, maybe check yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe you need to forgive them.
I need to pray right now, Karen. No. No.
Well, I mean, there was a time when there was something going on, and every time I saw this person,
something.
And I didn't feel like they had any right maybe to be where they are. This is mine, blah, blah, blah. And there's another thing I learned. You know what? If you'll give that to God, God, this is your road.
Right.
God, this is your what have you. Then whatever they do, they're doing it to God's. Because you already gave it to God.
Right.
So if he has a problem with it, he can handle it because it's his.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
And so that's another thing I learned to do was give whatever I feel like is mine to God. And then he can handle it.
Right.
You know,
Good
so
way to
that was
look at
another
it.
thing I
Yeah,
learned.
for sure. Okay, are we moving on from that
we're
one?
moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm the next verse, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Yes.
Do we want to stop there or continue on with
Let's
the rest?
stop there.
Okay. All
So,
right.
and lead us not into temptation. What do you think that means? Because this is one that I haven't really hung out on that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you always think about temptation, meaning, I mean, you think of some adulterous affair or some.
For me, it's the cupcakes.
Or
and
the. Yeah, something, you know, a big whatever.
Yeah.
No. But there are many temptations in life, and
I'm not going to be, and people used to preach this, I remember, I'm not going to be tempted to kill somebody.
right.
Because that's not my nature. I'm going to be tempted to do something else that doesn't seem like it's that bad.
Right. What about that little lie? Maybe to get yourself out of a pickle or something. I mean, you know, we like to sugarcoat those things. You know, we want to talk about the, you know, the murderer or the one that's having an affair or whatever. But
maybe mine is, eating everything in the house because I'm stressed out.
Right. Or talking about somebody in a very negative way.
Because that's fun.
Yeah, gossiping
Mm-hmm.
about someone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
For every person, it's different.
It's different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it may be silly to somebody what mine would be, you know, because mine are not going to be those big ones usually that people think of as big. But it's the attitude of the heart that matters.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So whatever it is, if we can identify it as, oh, this is a temptation that will negatively affect my life. A lot of times we just think, oh, well, we don't even think about it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Everybody does this.
Yeah. So to me, this scripture is saying, Jesus, I need your help.
Yeah.
I need your help when I'm wanting to do something that's not good for me. Or, you know, when it's pulling me strongly in that direction. Mm-hmm. Lord, help me.
Yeah. Sometimes we got to be like Joseph, you know, when he was in there and that Potiphar's wife was trying to get him to come to bed with her.
Right.
He left.
He ran.
He ran.
And left his cloak behind.
He did.
Yeah.
And sometimes if we feel just so weak, sometimes the thing to do is just
get out of there.
Turn the TV off.
Right.
Take the movie out. Throw the movies away. So.
You know what, Karen? I've even noticed, like, when we'll be watching, and I hardly watch any TV anymore, but we were watching something the other night, and a commercial came on.
Yeah.
Even the commercials have things in them I don't care to see.
Me either. And they're just crass.
Yes,
sometimes.
They are. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So anyway, well, that's us. And I mean, you do you.
Yeah. So this is the end of this one. Mm-hmm. So this was, we were ending up with lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. Mm-hmm. And that's, arguably, some would say that's the end of the Lord's Prayer. Mm-hmm.